Hello folks, I am back with a product review, and this time it's going to be on the HK VP9L Longslide kit. First things first, before I go any further, Heckler & Koch will put out two versions of the Longslide pistol, so there will be actual pistols that are going to be in the Longslide configuration. One is going to be the VP9L-B for button, that means the button mag release, and the other one is going to be for the VP9L-P, which means paddle, which is pretty much standard on most VP9s. And if you notice, if you look on mine very closely, you'll see the designation VP9L-B. And what I believe happened is Heckler & Koch wanted to send all these slides out as fast as possible, and plus make the frames for the VP9s. So I guess they made a lot of slides for the various ones for the paddle and ones for the button mag release. So it doesn't matter which one you get; it's going to function on the standard VP9 frame. Moving along with this, it's something that I've been long awaited for, and I believe everybody in the firearms community has been waiting, because I do not understand why they did not come out with a Longslide firearm, since companies like the Glock had the Glock 34, there's the Walther PPQ 5 match, and I don't know why they waited so long, but it's finally here. So those of you who have VP9s, you can get the kit, or those of you who don't have a VP9 at all, you can buy those two firearms, whichever you would like, whether you want the paddle or the magazine button, and it's readily pretty much available probably in the next few months or so. Okay, let's get on with some specs on here. As you see on here, the slide you do see have the serrations in the front, which remind you of the Walther PPQ 5 match. So you'll see the serrations up front over here, and that is supposed to control weight. And also, you will notice that I'm going to break this down, but you'll notice that there is going to be, and let me just clear this for people I put that in for aesthetics, but empty magazine, and as you see, the chamber is empty as well. I just come back from the range, so it's going to appear dirty a little bit. I did my first 100 rounds on this just to test this out, and if you look on the barrel here, it's a O-ring barrel set up here. It helps for positive lockup. That's why you see this O-ring here, and it is a matched barrel. They call this the enhanced lockup system, and it's supposed to optimize for accuracy. And let me just break this down, and here you go. And breaking it down, it breaks down simple, just like any other VP9. If you notice, this is of course, since it's a longer slide, longer barrel, you're going to have the spring. Now, the spring is going to be a little different from the other springs, and it's coated red. So that's probably for the designation for the longer slide, because I know there are a couple other colors. I believe there's a yellow and there's a green for the regular VP9 to designate whether it's for the 40 caliber or for the 9mm. Going underneath, it's pretty much standard like any other VP9. And again, you're going to have to forgive me for it being dirty. And just to give you a close-up, that is that O-ring right here, matched barrel. The barrel's black, and then you have your silver portion right here, and they're saying that is what it's for positive lockup. And it is. I had a question the other night on Three Guys Gun Chat about it, whether it's going to be a serialized part, and I have to correct myself. It is a serialized part with the barrel as well as on the slide itself. So it's a matching serialized part. And to put it back together is pretty much simple, like any other VP9 and so forth. So you just get that together. I usually don't like to do these on camera because I usually screw up on camera. And I think I do have it. Yeah. And you have to really play around with that. And a little fighting with the camera. Yes, I did pause it a little bit. I cheated. I'm sorry. But for the most part, it attaches like any other regular VP9. And you just lock, go forward, and there you go. Check for function, and it is working. Further information on this, here we have the fiber optic front sight as well as a rear adjustable sight. And this sight is by LPA. And I didn't get a chance to use this sight because I used the sight for adjustments because it was my fault that I left my proper tools to do further adjusting. But it wasn't bad on accuracy at all. To get into other measurements, it's going to be the overall length. It's going to be 8.25 inches with a 5-inch barrel, and the sight radius, which is pretty cool, is going to be at 7.25 inches. And that sight radius is really good because when I was firing this particular the VP9, as I was firing, it did not seem as though that it was jumping at all. Like when you take your shots, usually you have your recoil or your recoil flip, and it tracks very well. So it's like very minimal that you don't even notice it at a steady pace of when you're shooting. And the shooting like I said itself. It's the trigger is normal VP9, but when you're dealing with the sight picture is really good on this firearm. One of the other things is, as you're firing, you don't really notice if there's any type of weight with it, even though it feels slightly heavier than your standard VP9 slide. But when you're shooting, you're not really noticing it. And I'm going to clear this off to show you some targets. It's show you how it's how it performed. Like I said, I only did 100 rounds. So the first set of shots that I did this is roughly about 25 shots here, and this is an additional 25. This is at 7 yards. I was just fiddling around to see where this was going to shoot. I was using 115 grain full metal jacket, round nose, and it was a Remington brand that was at the range. I prefer a brand. I usually like to shoot with a 124 grain, but this is what they had. So at 7 yards, it's pretty much a gimme. It's pretty easy, especially with that long slide. But to show you something a little more challenging, this is 50 shots at 15 yards. Now, I figured you have a long slide, might as well take advantage of it. So I believe these are my first shots, and I think I was a little low. And as a little low, I got these 3 shots down here. Then I went a little high because I was trying to get a good sight picture, whether it was going to be point of aim or did I have to apply some type of lowering the sight so it will be below the X line, or whether do I have to raise it up higher. And I think traditionally, the further the distance, the VP9s usually tend to shoot high at longer distances. So I think that's why I got these completely out. And then I tried uh, sighting in the sight picture, and that's what I got. This is 50 rounds in this area, and I don't think it did too bad. I just want to experiment on using the adjustable rear sight, because to me I was pulling a little bit over to the right side, so I want to adjust it so I can move it over a little bit to tear up the X right there. Okay, I got the VP9 Longslide. I got it in the mail, and it comes in this box right here. Now, the problem I had with this is I think this is pretty much a fail for them. What they do is they tape with your mailing packet. They tape on the outside with your mailing packet. Let me try to focus this. Your mailing packet, these are your instructions just in case you don't know how to put a slide on your firearm. So it came with that, and this was taped on the outside of the outer box for this. It's, it's sealed in plastic with your address and your receipt and so forth. The other fail, the fail that I see with this is it comes in this box, and of course you have this to make sure things are a little fresh inside, and you have these two little styrofoam pieces, the A-cart like styrofoam or cushion part to protect it. Okay, I understand they want to save some money or whatever they want to do, but I'm going to show you how SIG sends their product out. Now, I know a lot of people don't like SIG, but it is what it is. SIG sends their product wrapped in plastic, a carton, foamed, hard case, and resealed. Now, the other big fail, if you look at these two, what do you notice that's different on these two firearms? These two slides. Okay, I'm going to tell you. The big difference between these two is there's a Romeo 1 put on this slide right here. And I think where Heckler & Koch messed up was they should have had it milled out, or where you could get plates for RMRs or whatever optic that you want to get. That, to me, was their biggest mistake with this. This is the only thing that I could really fault Heckler & Koch on. Outside of the way how it's shipped or anything like that, that's not so much of a big deal as not thinking ahead and at least put a optic ready portion right here. I've been online and I've seen people have to send their slides away and just to put an optic on it, and they look really good. But why didn't Heckler & Koch think ahead by putting an optic plate here or something where you can put your favorite optic on here? That makes no sense to me. Other than that, this is a very nice package, what they do as far as with the slide. It shoots very well, and I understand that you want to use this in competitions or whatever the case may be. I think this is worth the money because, for the reasons, if you already have a VP9, you can get this. And you could use this for targeting or competitions if you want. And then you could switch back and use this back as a carry firearm or defensive firearm. So I don't like I said, I think it's a good value. It's not overpricey because after all, you are paying for most of the money on firearms go into the slide, the barrel, the recoil system, and safety components, as well as the striker system. And I think for the money, people are questioning whether it's worth the money. I would say, like I said again, I think it is worth the money if you want to switch back and forth. And instead of buying two firearms, which uh, it can be expensive to have two firearms depending on your economic situation. Well, like I said, you can go for it with this. This is it's a very good target acquisition. It's very accurate. So outside of this, I just want to show you another HK product, which is not such a big deal. And it's not such a really a big deal. As you know, this is a VP9SK. Now, a lot of people have complained about the size of the VP9SK because it only holds 10 rounds. Now, you know a lot of the firearms today with the Glock 43X and the Glock 48, but some people still like this particular size, and I do like this particular size because I like the way they set up the grip and so forth. But when you have a magazine capacity of 10 rounds, sometimes you might just want a little more. So I ordered this magazine. This is the H&K factory 13 round magazines. So this is pretty cool. You have 13 rounds, and also it gets you a good purchase on the firearm where you have a good solid grip with your whole hand here. Now, you know this is already made for your entire hand, but your standard one or your smaller base plate, your finger tends to your pinky finger tends to hang off. But if you want extra capacity, you can go with this, and it's a good purchase. All right, that's all I have for now. I just wanted to show you those two products. Well, this product on the magazine real quick, and I also wanted to show you this. So other than that, happy shooting, #2A. Take care.